If you stop doing housework, you'll end up going senile, right? You're already such an idiot who forgets everything I say. From now on, I'll just call you idiot.
My daughter-in-law, Holly, sneered at me as she said this. After suddenly suggesting we live together, Holly forced all the housework onto me and started making snide comments. Living with Holly was really taking a toll on me mentally. And it was not just her comments. She even betrayed my son, John, by cheating on him. I can't forgive her for betraying John. One day, I'll expose her true colors. I swore this to myself. Then, my chance finally came.
Ouch.
I heard a scream and rushed over to the stairs, only to find Holly collapsed at the bottom. I'll never get an opportunity like this again. Fueled by all my pent-up resentment toward her, I decided to get even. My name is Carol Smith, and I'm 82. My husband passed away 2 years ago, so I live alone. People often say, "Aren't you lonely living by yourself?" But that's not the case at all. I keep myself busy doing things I love, relaxing with my cat, Kitty. Actually, the stuffed animals I started making as my hobby have become quite popular, and now I even sell a few. Since they're handmade, I can't mass produce them, but I never have any downtime, so I'm always happily busy. Then one day, out of the blue, I got a call from my son. My son, John, works for a big corporation and is always busy. He's a kind, serious person, but with all his work, we haven't been in touch lately. I was surprised by his call, but also thrilled. I thought he was just calling to say hi, but he came out with something totally unexpected.
Mom, don't you think it's about time we live together?
We live together? Why, all of a sudden? I'm not senile yet, you know.
I'm not worried about that, but I thought living alone might be getting a bit hard for you.
There was some truth to what John was saying. The stairs I used to go up and down so easily started feeling harder to manage, and even a quick trip to the store was leaving me exhausted. It's only natural at my age, I thought, now that I'm over 80. But hearing John say it out loud, maybe living alone is getting tough. But Holly wouldn't want this, would she? Moving in together so suddenly. Holly is my son's wife. She's never been one for family gatherings, and when she did attend, she mostly sat quietly off to the side. I got the sense she didn't like me much, so honestly, I thought she'd turn down John's idea of living together. However, John was straightforward.
It's fine. Actually, it was Holly who suggested we move in together. She said that as only your son, I should start thinking more about family, and she even scolded me.
Holly really said that?
So if you're okay with it, Mom, let's live together.
I didn't really mind either way. My late husband was well off, and the house is quite spacious. We have more than enough rooms, so my son and his wife moving in wouldn't be an issue. And so, it was settled that they would move in. I started tidying up a bit, going up the stairs that I hadn't climbed in a while to clean out the rooms. It was quite tiring, as expected at my age, but I managed to get through it. As I was taking a break and enjoying some tea, John and Holly arrived.
Mom, we're staying with you from today on.
Of course, Holly, please feel at home.
Thank you.
Holly didn't even crack a smile, which puzzled me, but I showed them to their room in silence.
Oh, I need to head to the office for a bit. I'll be back late.
On a Sunday? That sounds rough.
There's a big project going on. See you later.
With that, John dropped off his bags and went off to work. Feeling a bit awkward at the idea of being alone with Holly, I thought I'd start preparing dinner.
What is this?
Is something wrong?
This place is covered in dust. Can't you clean properly?
She was pointing at the top of the dresser. It was a bit high, and as a shorter person, I hadn't been able to reach up there to dust. I couldn't reach that spot, so I hadn't cleaned it. Sorry, but could you do it yourself?
No, I'm busy unpacking, so you should do it.
Wait, what did you just say? The harshness of her words left me speechless. I hadn't felt much respect from her before, but this wasn't how you'd talk to a mother-in-law.
Why would someone like you need any respect?
Holly was looking at me as if I were trash. If you dislike me that much, then why did you suggest living together?
Oh, that. Well, this house is way nicer than an apartment, don't you think? It's much better here, though you're definitely in the way.
Seeing Holly reveal her true colors gave me a headache. I couldn't believe she was like this. If I had known, I would have refused to live together. But it was too late now, and I would come to regret this decision even more. Once we started living together, Holly completely neglected any household chores.
Is dinner ready yet?
I'm so sorry. Our neighbor dropped by, and I got caught up talking. I'll get on it now.
Hurry up, will you? You're so slow.
She treated me like a servant, lounging on the sofa, doing nothing but barking orders. Couldn't you at least help out a little?
Excuse me? I'm saying this for your sake. If you stop doing housework, you'll go senile, right? You're already a forgetful idiot. From now on, I'll just call you Dummy, all right?
With that, Holly laughed out loud. I wanted to talk to John about it, but he was often busy with work, sometimes not coming home until after midnight. I didn't want to bother him with my troubles when he was already so busy. So I told myself I'd just endure it. I'd bear with it as best I could. But Holly's behavior got worse with each passing day.
Hey, why did you put my skirt in the washing machine?
Well, I thought it needed washing since it was by the laundry basket.
Look at the care label next time. Are you seriously that dense?
She threw the skirt at me with full force. True, I should have checked the care label, and that was my fault. But if she's that picky, she could just do her own laundry. Since they moved in, the laundry piles up, and shopping trips are heavier and more exhausting. Even when I try to explain that these tasks are hard for me at my age, Holly glares at me and yells.
Oh, quit whining. Think of it as strength training, dummy.
Every day ends with her insulting me, no matter what I say. I was at my breaking point. When I felt down, Kitty, my cat, would quietly snuggle up to me. Her presence was my only comfort. She always stayed close, as if trying to console me. I'd hold Kitty close and quietly let my tears fall. Then one day, I witnessed something shocking. Holly returned home arm in arm with a young man I didn't recognize. They were talking intimately, standing close together. I was so surprised that I spoke up to Holly. "Hey, Holly, who was that just now?"
Oh, nobody. Just someone I know.
"You seemed awfully close for just an acquaintance. You're married, you know, so keep a proper distance."
Oh, give it a rest. I don't need advice from you.
Her loud voice made me shrink back. But if she was cheating, I couldn't back down now. "But if someone thought you were cheating, wouldn't that be a problem? What if there's a misunderstanding?"
What if it's not a misunderstanding?
"What?" I looked at Holly, and she had a smirk on her face. "What do you mean by not a misunderstanding?"
Exactly what I said. You really are dumb. So what if I'm cheating?
"There's no way that's okay. Cheating while you're married to John."
It's boring being with someone who's always working. He makes money though, so that part's fine.
I was stunned by Holly's words. Even though she cheated on John, she was still smiling. I was stunned by Holly's words. "Cheating is absolutely unforgivable. I'm going to tell John."
Feel free. Like he'd believe anything a dummy like you says.
"You don't know that."
Whatever an old lady like you says, I'll just tell him you're senile or seeing things. He'll believe me over you. Tough luck.
Holly laughed triumphantly. I was furious, but I couldn't find words to argue back. At over 80, there are plenty of people my age who have dementia. I knew she could make people believe that about me. Even though I believed I was still sharp, I did sometimes forget things. So whenever Holly brought up my age, I feared people might not believe me. But I knew I couldn't let things go on like this for John's sake. As I glared at Holly's back while she hummed and went up to the second floor, the sound of the TV caught my attention.
I suspected he was cheating, so I hired someone to investigate.
On TV, they were talking about cheating investigations. That's it. I quickly jotted down notes and picked up my smartphone. I promised myself that I'd teach Holly a lesson she wouldn't forget, showing her that underestimating an elderly woman could backfire. A month later, as I was preparing lunch in the kitchen, there was a loud, heavy thud from the staircase. I rushed over to find Holly lying at the bottom of the stairs.
Ouch.
She was clutching her arm and leg, wincing in pain. As I recalled, today she was supposed to be meeting up with her friend. So she had on a lovely dress and was fully made up.
Hey, old lady. Call an ambulance now.
"Oh dear, what happened?"
What do you mean, what happened? I fell down the stairs. Isn't it obvious?
It seemed she had slipped on her stockings and tumbled down the stairs. With sweat beading on her forehead from the pain, she glared at me, desperate. But an immobile Holly was hardly intimidating. I thought I should call an ambulance, but then a little mischievous idea popped into my head. After all the times she'd called me a fool, I decided to give her a taste of her own medicine. "Oh dear, how awful. Can you stand?" Shall I help you up?
Ouch. Stop it. What are you doing?
When I tried to pull her up, she screamed as she writhed in pain. I must have grabbed the spot where she'd hit herself. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't realize where it hurt.
Knock it off. Call the ambulance.
Oh, right, the ambulance. Now, where did I leave my phone? My phone was in my pocket, but I pretended to look around for it.
Why don't you have it? Here, use mine.
Oh, thank you. Oh, what's this password thing?
Just give it me. Here you go. I unlocked it, so call the ambulance.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Now, let's see. Oh dear, I accidentally sent a text. Let me call now. The pain must have been intense, as Holly kept yelling at me to hurry up. What's the emergency number again?
It's 911 for the ambulance. Are you really going senile?
Oh, right, 911. Hello, I need an ambulance, please. My daughter-in-law seems to have fallen while getting all excited about her date and took a tumble down the stairs.
You didn't have to say that part.
Holly's breathing grew heavy from the pain. Her leg was swelling up, turning bright red. It looked like a serious fracture. I've called the ambulance, so just hang in there a bit.
Oh, this is the absolute worst.
She muttered it and sighed. Just then, out of nowhere, Kitty crept over and settled herself right on Holly's swollen leg.
Ouch.
The pain that had started to subside flared up again, and Holly let out a loud scream. Kitty leaped off her leg and landed on my shoulder, looking almost proud. Oh, Kitty, did you want to play? Now's not the time, though, okay?
You stupid cat. Just wait until I'm better. I'll remember this.
You shouldn't take it so seriously with a cat. She probably didn't even realize you fell down the stairs. She's probably just wondering why you're lying there. Seeing Holly glare at me and Kitty in frustration gave me a sense of satisfaction. Soon enough, the ambulance arrived, and I rode with her to the hospital. Once we arrived, I called John. The test results showed that Holly had fractured 2 bones in her ankle. Her arm had a slight crack as well and was temporarily braced. The surgery for her leg was scheduled for the next day, so she was left in an awkward position with her right arm and right leg immobilized.
This is the worst. Hey, go grab me a drink from the shop.
I told Holly, deliberately wondering, as she gave me orders in front of the nurse. Oh, I didn't bring any money since I rushed over here.
What? You're useless. Just use your phone to pay and go get it.
Oh, that sounds complicated. I'm just a dumb old lady. I don't know how to use it.
Just go now. And don't come back until you have it.
With that shouted at me, I left the room. As I stepped out, a nurse approached me.
That was your daughter-in-law, right? Does she always talk to you like that? Isn't that a bit harsh?
The nurse's concern made me smile. Oh, don't worry. I'm just a silly old woman. I'll be waiting in the break room since I can't make it back from the gift shop. Just let me know if you need me. The nurse let out a hearty laugh, probably realizing I had no intention of going to the shop.
If you need anything, Just come find us at the nurse's station.
She said, leaving with a nod. I thanked her and settled in to rest when John came rushing over.
Mom, I heard Holly got injured.
Yes, she did. She fell down the stairs, and it looks like she'll need surgery tomorrow for a broken bone.
I see. Do you know where her room is?
Of course. I nodded and led John to her room.
You're late, you old hag.
John's eyes widened as he froze, taking in her words. Holly, who hadn't expected John to come in instead of me, also froze, her mouth hanging open in shock.
John. No, it's not what it sounds like.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Holly asked me to go to the shop, but I didn't have any cash on me, and I don't understand how to use the phone to pay. Hearing this, John's brow furrowed.
Did you really say that to Mom? Just now?
No, I was just in pain and ended up yelling, that's all.
Holly was sweating nervously, desperately trying to deny it. Oh no, it's not her fault at all. I'm always so slow and clumsy. I probably just made her upset. Don't worry, it's just how things are.
How things are.
Don't just make stuff up.
Holly's face contorted with rage as she glared at me. John's face grew tense as he watched this exchange.
So you've been treating Mom like this all along?
No, this isn't.
All right, I'm done with this back and forth. Holly, stay quiet. I'll ask Mom directly.
Why don't you believe me?
Holly cried out, her face twisting in pain from the effort of faking tears.
Mom, has Holly been saying terrible things to you all this time?
Oh no, Holly hasn't said anything mean to me. Holly looked at me in astonishment, and I smiled back at her. It's my fault. I always ask for help with housework, which makes me lazy. Holly told me it's better for my health to keep active with chores, so she lets me do everything myself.
What?
I mean, I tend to use my age as an excuse to slack off. It's really my fault, and I appreciate Holly for being so strict and saying what I need to hear. Holly's face turned pale as she trembled, while John's face flushed red and his fists tightened.
You said you'd help out with the housework to support my elderly mom, didn't you? So what exactly have you been doing while leaving it all to her?
Well,
Unable to answer, Holly quivered as John held up his phone in front of her.
Have you been seeing this man?
The phone screen showed a photo of Holly and an unfamiliar man lying on a bed together. It was clearly suspicious.
How did you get that photo?
Oh, did I accidentally send that earlier when I was trying to call an ambulance? In the rush, I must have hit the wrong button. Holly glared at me with a furious, almost demonic expression.
You old hag.
Her reaction was practically a confession of her affair. Oh, there were quite a few photos with that man, actually. Would you like to take a look, John? Holly's phone is right here.
No. Stop. Don't look.
Ignoring Holly's protests, I unlocked her phone and handed it to John. He glared at Holly coldly.
You even had plans to meet him today, didn't you? That would explain the nicer than usual outfit.
No, you're misunderstanding. It's not an affair.
Then what's this message about? I want a divorce soon, and when I do, let's get married. You expect me to believe you aren't cheating with texts like these? Do you think I'm stupid?
Please, I'm sorry.
Half crying, Holly bowed her head, but it was too late to calm John's anger.
I can't stay with a woman who insults my mom and has an affair. It's over. We're getting divorced.
Wait, I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Be quiet. I don't even want to look at you.
I'd never seen John so furious before. As I watched in surprise, Holly turned to me, pleading.
Please, Carol, I'll do all the chores from now on. You'll need help in your old age, right? I'll take care of you, I swear. Please, let's continue living together.
So now you're trying to cozy up to Mom? After all the insults you threw at her?
No, I'm genuinely concerned for her. With how much you're away at work, John, how could you manage to care for her if we divorced?
That's
John hesitated. Seeing this, Holly gave a triumphant smile.
See, you only pretend to care about your mom, but work's all you think about. With me here, she'll be safe and taken care of. So won't you forgive me?
Holly looked up at me with pleading eyes. I smiled at Holly. Taking this as forgiveness, Holly visibly relaxed and smiled back. But with your hand and foot like that, how exactly do you plan to take care of me? Holly's smile froze on her face. Ignoring her, I continued speaking. Don't you mean I'd be the one taking care of you? It'd actually be easier without you around. The amount of laundry, groceries, and cooking would be much lighter, and honestly, a caregiver sounds like a better option than you.
What?
Holly looked devastated, holding her head in disbelief.
It's settled then. We're getting divorced. I'll bring your things to the hospital, so don't come back to the house.
Wait, what about the hospital paperwork, the surgery consent, and a guarantor?
Ask your lover for help.
John replied icily. Ignoring Holly's protests, we left the hospital together. In the end, John and Holly divorced. We packed all her things and delivered them to the hospital that very day, effectively kicking her out of the house. Later, John consulted a lawyer and filed a claim for compensation. As it turns out, I had hired an investigator I'd seen on TV a month earlier to look into Holly's affair. The results provided solid evidence, enabling John to claim substantial damages. The investigation revealed that Holly had been involved in this affair for quite some time, leading to a considerable claim for compensation. With the hospital fees and the cost of a new apartment, Holly also needed extra money, so she turned to her lover for support. However, her lover was also married and chose his family over her. Abandoned and left on her own, Holly now lives in a shabby apartment, taking on small tasks to make ends meet. Her leg fracture still limits her mobility, and she's struggling quite a bit, but that's not my concern. Afterward, I began a new life living with John. Perhaps still stung by Holly's hurtful words, John started wrapping up work earlier to join me for meals more often. Though I feel bad that he's adjusting his schedule, I'm grateful as a mother. Who knows what the future holds, but I want to cherish the time I have with my son.